When it comes to the history of car audio, there's not a lot of brands that could speak to all the evolution of technology that this company has brought to the table since the get go. We're talking about Pioneer, and more specifically, we're going to do a deep dive into just how serious a speaker manufacturer Pioneer is because we're going to be covering a whole bunch of categories that you might not even have known that Pioneer is making today. We've got product expert Robert Money joining us, and he's going to break it down all for you guys. This is CMA Networks, brought to you by SiriusXM, Pioneer, and it starts now. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on the menu today, Pioneer, everybody's favorite car audio brand. Everybody knows it. They've been around forever. But today, I think they're here to prove a point, and that is the fact that Pioneer, at its roots, is a hardcore loudspeaker manufacturer. We've got lots of different products and categories that we're going to cover today, and we've got Robert's going to walk us through the journey that is Pioneer in the speaker category. Now, Robert, give us a quick tease of what we're going to be covering today.
Actually, Ben, today we will do a great session covering pretty most all the speaker categories that Pioneer do, because most people are looking at Pioneer and know Pioneer for receivers in the dashboard, no matter if it's from their own vehicle or their friend's vehicle. They see the name on the dashboard because it's right under their eyes. But Pioneer did a lot of speakers and still do a lot of speakers for cardio. And that's what we want to look at today with you.
As I suspected, deep dive today on speakers of all different ranges with Pioneer. But before that, a quick opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you dealers out there why you should love it. And when we come back, me, Robert Money, and Pioneer Speakers.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability. People love it.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking Pioneer, and more specifically, we're talking about car audio speakers with Robert Money. Now, Robert, you mentioned it. Pioneer has an extremely rich history when it comes to speaker development and manufacturing, specifically for the car environment. Can you give us a little bit of background before we dive into each model series?
That will be a pleasure, Ben. Actually, Pioneer started in 1937 by creating a speaker created by Matsumoto-san, who started the company in 1937 in Japan with a speaker. So we have a rich heritage of what is a speaker, what is audio, and from the early beginning, Matsumoto-san was a early passionate people, and that passion actually is translated to most, if not say all the people at Pioneer when it's time to talk about good audio. So from the early beginning of the process, from the research and development, all the equipment involved and the technologies involved for speaker development, part of the DNA of every single people at Pioneer is actually passion for music, passion for car, where we blend those two together in a way to create the best solution that we can offer to the market. Actually, a good speaker is hard to design, and it's even harder to design it when it's time to make it for dedicated tasks, such as environment. Actually, car audio environment is maybe, I should say, one, if not the most complex environment in a way to create great sound. So instead of sitting in a perfect room at home, having the pair of stereo speakers perfectly aligned with the perfect environment where I can have my own bubble of happiness listening to the music, Car is a totally different story. So speaker placement actually is one, if not the worst place we can have it, with speakers close to our feet in the door panel, sometimes on the dashboard, on the rear deck, dealing with sheet metal that maybe sometimes can vibrate, or different shapes or orientation where I'm not perfectly sitting on axis. So it's pretty challenging from the acoustic point of view to achieve great sound in the car. And you need to design speakers that will give you the best performance no matter how they are installed. So even if you're moving from on axis to off axis, that speaker audio characteristic, the tonal balance of the speakers should be pretty smooth on those transitions. So if you're listening to a left speaker or right speakers, the end result should be pretty much the same to your ears or close to it, in a way to start with a solid foundation. So that is one aspect. The other things is car environment is really a harsh environment. So dealing with humidity cycling, temperature cycling, we know that we have a hard time these days with warm weather, cold weather at wintertime as well. So the things that are installed in the car need to withstand all those environment. So here again, it's just adding up to the complexity of a good car speaker design. So it's really important to do it properly from the beginning, initially from the thinking process. And most of the time, actually do that things properly from the beginning, instead of trying to adapt technologies that are maybe good for home, but are not the best scenarios when it's time to enjoy great music in the car. So it's a long process, and you need to be passionate about it if you want to do it perfectly. And from, again, the perspective that Pioneer is doing it from the scratch, we also masterize, if I can say it this way, all the process from the thinking, from the trial and error things, but also from computer assist point of view, the different tests that we do in the anechoic chambers, different tests that we also perform in many type of car, in a way to validate in real life scenarios what is the end result to the box at the end. So it's a complex process, but over the years, over all those years, Pioneer is maybe one company, if not the best company, to masterize that process. And I think we can share that passion with a quick video that we can share with the customers right now.
Pioneer is different from a technology perspective with regard to speakers especially. We have continued to develop and engineer technology about sound reproduction. Pioneer has invested in many different tools over our history, things such as our anechoic chamber, which is a room specifically designed to remove all reflections. So when we are testing and measuring a loudspeaker in this environment, we hear only the sound that is reproduced by the speaker itself. So it's a really accurate way to very closely monitor changes that we make when engineering a loudspeaker. We've grouped all of these test equipment and even specialized rooms together in one facility. And then reliability testing, materials testing, they all are in specialized labs. The reliability testing could be things for temperature and moisture and vibration, drop tests. Many of those different techniques that we use to really measure how a loudspeaker will perform in the real world. Throughout Pioneer's history, we have continued to evolve the loudspeaker technology that is applied, whether it's for home use, professional use, or car use. As all of those environments continue to change, we change the packaging or the materials or the way we develop loudspeakers for those environments. In this way, Pioneer has continued to invest in human resources, engineers, equipment, facilities, buildings, mostly centered around that Tohoku facility. An example of this technology is HPT.
次の特徴として、このように駆動系から出る振動と振動系から出る余計な振動というものを打ち消すような、音楽再生以外の余計な振動を発生しないという特徴があります。HVT 方式は主に低音再生、薄型で低音再生が得意な技術でありますので、今後サブウーファーのカテゴリーとかで伸ばしていきたいと考えております。例えば厚みがこのぐらいで壁一面ぐらいの振動板を動かすというようなサブウーファーも可能になることを考えております。
Through this one facility, we've got all of these people dedicated to speaker production, all grouped in the same facility, start to finish. And it really simplifies and makes our entire organization more efficient. And we can pass that on to the consumer, both in sound quality, in reliability, and ultimately in the economies of scale of building a product that is affordable to most consumers.
As you can see, we're more than just a basic car audio company. So we started doing speakers, and we're still doing lots of developments for speakers. So from the basic OEM car speakers to the higher end home speakers that we know under TAD or technical audio devices. We also do in Tohoku, Japan, where the team is for the sound project of Pioneer development for all the aftermarket speakers that we know under the different series that we are offering to the market for the customers. Because at Pioneer, we can't see a speakers that is a one size fits all. We have created different sets of speakers in a way to perfectly match the different customer needs, as you can see. So from the best audiophile quality to a more affordable solution, we will have for the customers a solution that will fit perfectly the needs he's looking for.
All right, Robert, you've obviously provided more than enough arguments to see how serious Pioneer takes speaker development and manufacturing. So let's do the dance. Let's go through the whole thing and make this a clinic. And let's start with the baseline, which is the fact that Pioneer does so much work in the OEM side of things that, of course, they've also provided an OEM spec replacement series in the G series.
The G series is the entry level of Pioneer, but you should not look at these speakers as a basic speakers, even if we're calling it entry level. So those speakers are highly efficient speakers, especially designed to match the low power output from a OEM receivers. So the reason why we designed those this ways is to have them to give you the perfect tonal balance, the perfect audio characteristic from your listening left to right with a Pioneer open and smooth sound concept, and at the same time keep their dynamism even if they are low powered from the OEM receivers. So basically the open and smooth concept from Pioneer is a design where we maintain the staging the best way we can achieve in the car in a way to deal with the complex positioning of those speakers in the car, mostly from the left to right. As an example, when you're dealing with the speakers installed in the lower section of the door panel, you will have totally different speaker angle. So the audio characteristic from the left to right will be a totally different type of listening. So with Pioneer Open and Smooth, we are minimizing those change from listening to a on-axis, from an on-axis to a off-axis type of listening in a way to create a better blend and a better harmony between the left to right speakers to make music that you are hearing the same. So no matter if they are from a speakers installed at different angle, which is the type of case we do in the car. So the G series are the perfect fit for the OEM receivers.
All right, OEM replacement, check. Now, let's talk about something I consider a little bit more fun, Robert, and that is let's get some performance. So we step up to the next series of speakers, which I believe are called the A speakers. And I think here's where you're going to start benefiting from not only performance, but some power upgrades as well.
Actually, yes, Ben, the A series is the affordable audio quality type of product for Pioneer. Actually, this is pretty much the most popular line we have since years. We're selling these in North America, I think, since 20 years now. So we have a pretty rich history for the A series. Those speakers are especially designed for the customers who look to improve the audio quality with a smoother response from their car, and where they are actually in a transition between having the power of these speakers feed by the OEM receivers or the aftermarket receivers. So we still need to have something that is showing high efficiencies because you don't want to drop in power output because you're improving the sound quality in the car. You want to at least maintain that efficiencies. So those speakers need to be higher in efficiencies, and they need also to handle more power handling. So if the customers want to evolve over time or directly do that jump by adding an external amplifiers, the A series speakers will be able to deal with both worlds. So low power application, but enough power handling to be able to sustain that higher power from external amplifiers. On top of that, we also including in the popular sizes different sets of really nice things in the A series that we don't in the G series, like the multi-fit adapter I just shown on the screens. We also have different mounting plate. Actually, that one is pretty nice because it's coming flat in the box like this, and because most people don't read all the owner manual, they wonder why we put those things in the box. So if you bend it this way, this create a nice mounting bracket in a way to install the little tweeters from a component set in a dashboard, as an example, with the 2 3/4 speakers or 3.5 speakers opening with that little bracket. So we still have the open and smooth concept I just explained with the G series, but we pushing these this design further in the detail. So the A series will exhibit a lower crossover point in a way to maintain higher staging. By this, the best example I can share with you is that little tweeter actually will show you a wider bandwidth than the typical tweeters, where the filter actually most of the time is 5 kilohertz and up. We will do something lower, around 3K for the A series, depending on the speaker size and the type of speakers from component to coax. And the reason why we made these filter settings so low is we don't want to have the staging moving up or down depending if you're listening to a female vocal or male vocal, which is the same type of issues that you will deal depending of the different instrument you're hearing in your music. So if you are dealing with separate components, you want to have the mid-high frequencies and the higher frequencies to be pretty stable in the higher stage, where you will have the lower frequencies from the woofer, actually, like this woofers that will be installed in the door, where it's not as critical for lower frequencies to be on axis. Those type of thing and integration will be pretty critical when you're dealing with higher frequencies. So achieving lower crossover point will maintain a better tonal balance, better staging, and at the same time, we also push the details of working with something with on axis and off axis by creating a tweeter that is a bit different in the design. So if you look at the front plastic plate in the middle of the tweeter, actually, this is specifically designed not just to look cool. It looks cool, but the main reason why we do that is to create some kind of obstruction from the direct beam of those higher frequencies in a way to achieve pretty similar output, no matter if you're on axis or if you're listening off axis. So that will help to smooth the transition between the different angle that you have installed in the car in a way to here again achieve the best audio characteristic from the foundation we can achieve at speaker point and minimize the audio correction from a DSP point of view.
You know, the amount of times that I've seen A-series Pioneer speakers show up into installs, it's countless. And because they are so popular, and there's a reason for that. So, you know, I love to see how that continues to be a thing, and that the A-series certainly play a huge role for many dealers out there as a go-to kind of first step improvement speaker replacement. But let's get even further and higher up the scale for those that want something with that much little more oomph, a little bit more power handling, and definitely some more bass.
Okay, with the D series, we're jumping into a deeper dive for the audio enthusiast type of people. So it's a high quality speakers where personally I think you really need to match it with external power amplifier in a way to make these speakers shine and really start to being more articulate and really do the delivery on what they should do for you with better audio, smooth type of sound, highly detailed, mid, high, and higher frequencies, but without being harsh type of sound, and where you will also achieve the nice type of round bass output that most North American people like to listen into their sound system, no matter if they are at home or in the car. So we're talking here about the audio enthusiast type of sound, and no matter the type of music that you will listen to it, they will do the delivery perfectly. So no matter if it's pop, genre type of music, rock, techno music, EDM type of music, they will do the delivery. And a nice thing about those speakers is they are sharing the exact same type of tweeter. So if you look here, it's a soft dome tweeter with the same type of plastic centerpiece here that I explained earlier about the achievement of the smooth, open and smooth of axis response. But that tweeter is also available with swivel type mount, different sets of bracket, as I explained, and really the good thing about it is you can really customize what you want. So as you see here, those tweeters are exactly the same tweeters. I just removed a different type of bezel or the plastic piece in a way to perfectly match your need. And if you look at the coax here, this is the exact same tweeter with the coax. So no matter if you are dealing with a coax speakers in the back and a component set in the front, you will have the exact same tonal characteristic of those speakers. So the perfect balance, not only from left to right, but from front and rear type of sound, because the same components are used in the design, no matter if it's we're talking about the size, the quality, the type of dome, they are a copy paste from the component set to the coax speakers. So perfectly matching tonal balance. And here again, as I mentioned when I start to talk about those, if you really want to have those speakers shine in your car, I think the best match for those speakers will be a Pioneer GMDX 874 that are actually designed to push 4 times 100 watts. So this will be the perfect match for those speakers to bring liveliness in your car.
And finally, Robert, we've reached the top. You've taken us on this voyage from OEM replacement all the way up to what I would consider audiophile grade componentry here in the Z series.
These Z series are audiophile grade speakers. They are certified iRes speakers. So if you look at the complete set, so let me grab that little heavy piece here. I'm not faking the sound, it's really heavy. So if you look from that 10 inches subwoofer, which is highly rigid type of subwoofers, shallow basket, as you can see, really nice design, heavily rigid type of design for the subwoofers with a Q of 0.7. Actually, I can translate that. So for most people, within that recommended enclosure of 0.6 cubic feet, sorry about my French, that subwoofers will exhibit a 0.7 Q, which is actually the perfect audiophile type of natural curve roll-off in the lower bass section that audiophile listener are looking at. So it will create a smooth, nice low end with dynamic and control bass. So that would be perfectly blend with the woofer that you will install in the doors, which is multi-layer high MPP Trois-Run aramid fiber, hard to say for a French guy like me, and match with a tweeter that is actually have lots of technologies, even if you consider that tiny little size type of tweeter. And as I shared with you with the D series, we can unclip that tweeter because I want to share it with you. It's locked and I can do it. Okay, here you go. So you have the same type of flexible installation with different sets of mounting bracket, like that one for a 3.5 speakers opening as an example, or even smaller, where you have the swivel type of tweeter that we also shared with the coax speakers. So if you look at the speakers itself, we also have the same tweeter with the swivel installation with the filter already installed on basket. So no need to deal with a big passive filter, boxy passive filters where you have hard time to install it in some space. So it's good for that as well. And if you look back at that little piece here, there's a lot of technologies in those Z speakers or Z speakers, depending on where you are if you're listening to us. So that tweeter is having a vertex drive system that is integrating a different way of attaching the component together. So the way we work with it is, instead of having the voice coil formers attached to the center dome, where the center domes move on the side, we made a specific design, which is kind of, it looked basically like a woofer cone with a big dust cap, but that cone actually worked all together. So the external section of the cone of the tweeter and the center dome work in harmony in a way to create the open and off-axis smooth response that we're looking all the time for Pioneer car speakers, and this will transfer with the direct drive system the complete energy without any loss. So that will achieve a pretty highly dynamic type of mechanical transition between the motor structures that push the cone really fast, because we're talking about high frequencies. So there's no flex at all in the cone, no detail loss. So even if it's a aluminum dome, we did the design with cloth material suspension and not hard type material suspension that is typically attached to a aluminum dome or titanium dome. So it's the perfect blend between the flexibility from the cloth suspension, so no stress on the edges of the dome that will create distortion, and highly rigid dome that will maintain the precise type of movement of air that we want to achieve when we're looking for high-res certified speakers, as we do with the Z series. And as I mentioned with the D series earlier, the Z series is the speakers that you really must have an amplifier to make it shine. So if you are looking for those speakers, there's a no-brainer attachment to it, which is at least a GMDX 874, again, in a way to bring those speakers to life with 100 watts of power per channel.
Now, you got to admit, Pioneer offering 4 different series of speakers that cover individual needs and wants of customers is a pretty impressive thing to do. But don't be fooled, because yes, Pioneer's also got you covered with a multiple range of subwoofers to choose from as well. Robert, please walk us through our very first subwoofer that we want to cover in the Champion series.
We have first the Champion series. We kept the name since years and still running the name, but those speakers are actually subwoofers that you can attach to the A series speakers. So it's have all the audio heritage and what we know about Champion series. So any bass lovers will love to listen to those type of subwoofers that will create rich, deep bass in a bass reflex enclosure design. So they are 12 inches, perfectly matched for the A series speakers.
Now, as we move across the subwoofer offering from Pioneer, of course, we have to take a second and talk about powered subwoofers, especially powered subwoofers that are meeting the demand of today's customer, because compact space is what our stores are dealing with. It's what people have to work with. No, not everybody can fit 4 15s in their trunk like back in the day, but they still want bass. So, Robert, what do we have to offer these customers?
I should agree, Ben. Even if we're not talking about 4 15 inches, even if you look at the Champion 12 inches that I just mentioned, that subwoofers need at least 1.5 cubic feet of bass reflex enclosure. So that's still important trunk space that you will need to maintain for the subwoofers. So for those people with a SUV, which is really popular type of vehicle these days, or the people with electrical vehicle, we designed in the past years and perfected over years and generation different sets of compact amplifiers that are all-in-one type of device. So they are including their own power supply amplification. So this will match also the input from a speaker level point of view to a line level point of view. So no matter if you are connecting those units to a OEM receiver, so the original receivers in the car, aftermarket receivers, or you want to match with some little extra kick without any sacrifices in the trunk space. So you can achieve those type of result with the TSWX powered subwoofers we have. And this will perfectly match the customers with the G series, A series, or even D series speakers in those type of application where trunk space is mandatory for the customers. So perfect fit for underseat application, or even in some scenarios under the deck of a sedan where you will maintain that trunk space, they will work as well.
Now, keeping with the theme, Robert, with what you said, perfect fit, Pioneer recently released the news of a brand new application series, which we're calling the custom fit speakers. And the first application is absolutely ingenious. I think it's going to get a lot of legs, but I don't want to steal your thunder. Please tell us a little bit more about the newly introduced H series of speakers.
Those TSH is the custom fit. So we started that series in North American market with one really impressive tweeter that is specifically built for a Toyota RAV4 2018 plus. So the tweeters share a lot of design and technologies from the Z series, and all the things I said about the Z series tweeter earlier in that session are 100% integrated in that custom fit tweeter for the RAV4. So people should look at this as the perfectly tailored type of speakers for their RAV4. It's not something that is a low price type of thing on quality side. So really, when we developed that first speakers for the custom fit, we took all the technologies from the top of the line Pioneer speakers and perfectly match it to the dashboard of the RAV4, and more importantly, with the audio characteristic of that RAV4, so perfectly optimized for that vehicle.
And to finish today's session strong, we're going to keep it fresh with brand new product announcements. If you guys have been watching CMA Live, then you know that towards the end of July, Pioneer dropped a bomb on a brand new set of pro-style subwoofers that are super cool looking, red paint job, and really beastly in my opinion. Robert, take us home with the brand new Pro Series subwoofers from Pioneer.
Hey Ben, just a comment. It's not just subwoofers; it's a full sets of speakers. So and they are, as you mentioned, really beast type of products. So highly efficient, open type of sound. So we build those things for the SPL lover, for the people where powerful is not enough or good is not enough. So people want to achieve really high efficient type of sound, who wants to do a tailgate party and wake up the neighbor. That Pro Series is the perfect match for those guys. So it's not perfectly fit in the best, better, good type of approach that we do for car audio. I think it's his own bubble, let's say it this way. So for the people who are looking at the Pro Series from subwoofers to tweeter, this is a totally different type of offer. But if you look at the subwoofer itself, I think that subwoofers can perfectly match A series speakers or D series speakers for the guys who just want it really loud in the bass.
And that there was Pioneer's Robert Money walking us through the entire offering, and might I say, an impressive offering of different loudspeakers that Pioneer currently has in their catalog. Now, if you're interested to find out more details on any of the products that were covered on today's show, I do encourage you to check out the official website found at pioneerelectronics.ca. Now, in my closing thoughts, when it comes to Pioneer, listen, this is a brand that nobody has never heard of. It's obviously ingrained in the very DNA that is car audio. What is impressive to me, however, is just the catalog that it has dedicated to the speaker side of things. You know, Robert had mentioned that most of us do recognize, and when I say us, I do mean consumers as well, recognize that Pioneer name when it comes to source units. But as a partner in business, think about the support and the options that Pioneer is offering you as a dealer to offer to your customers when it comes from anything from an OEM replacement type of speaker all the way up to brand new pro style speakers. That's something to think about when it comes to putting a product in your store that you could work with one brand and get all your bases covered when it comes to speakers. That's it for the CMA Network's presentation brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.